So good afternoon, comrades, fighters, our sympathizers, members of GALA, and the media. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation to have this press briefing. There's issues concerning today and our boys that are arrested and the way forward, and also not forgetting the audit, or the Auditor General. It is very important, and I think that is why we are here today. So thank you very much once again. It is very important we have this conversation. The President acted on a power that he does not have, to remove the Auditor General from his office, to replace him. That is unconstitutional. And the Section 158 has already made it very clear that the President does not have powers to remove the Auditor General. Yes, most of us might argue that the President appoint the Auditor General together with the Public Service Commission, but he does not have the right to sack or reshuffle the office of the Auditor General. So that is why we are here today. If you can remember so very vividly, there was a time that we went out to have a press conference at the National Audit Office, where some of our boys were arrested, and they are currently held in custody, and they are incommunicado. So news has reached us that they are currently they gathered all of them at Caraba Police, so we don't know what is the next action point of the state. So it is very important to have these press briefings, so that we are all on the safer side and the information flows as it should be. So that is it. And we also urging on all Gambians that tomorrow, these boys, if they are not released unconditionally, are going to be arraigned at the court. It is very important that the country is at a stage of dying, and we cannot afford to do that. So the state has already been captured, and people cannot afford to live in a country where just few will gather state resources and then use it in their own custody or in their own benefit. So as citizens of this country, we deem it very necessary to have this conversation that it should not happen, it must not happen, and it will never happen. So that is one thing that we must all put at the back of our mind, that the state is doing everything possible to make sure that they silence us. The state is doing everything possible to make sure that they do not have people that are going to be active in fighting for the rights and justice of ordinary Gambians. We all know corruption has eaten up this country. Corruption, it's now a tradition. Corruption is now rampant. In fact, those that are not corrupt are seen as bad people. Can you imagine? Only few individuals are going to sit at their own comfort zones and eat monies that belongs to the state. We are all taxpayers. We all pay tax. And one of the reasons why we pay tax is because we sacrifice or surrender some of our rights to the state in exchange of other issues. First, that is hospital or medication, schools, just to name a few. So it is disheartening that we are living in a country that people will go to hospitals with diseases that are curable, but they eventually die because there is no medicine. That should not happen. So we owe this country a lot. And as far as this country is concerned, we should not allow it to die. So that is why we are having these press briefings today, to update the people about what are going to be our moves and what are the things that we will take from here. Again, every Gambian that believes in this fight, every Gambian that believes that corruption is something that should not happen, please, we are urging you all to exercise your right to be at the court tomorrow. It is your constitutional right to gather at a public place And court is not an exception. So be at the court tomorrow if the boys are not released unconditionally. Yesterday, we have submitted 3 permits to the IGP for them to react on those permits. So we are giving them those permits because we are going to occupy the streets tomorrow. That there is nothing that can change that. We will not change that for anything. If the boys are not released, we are going to occupy the courthouse tomorrow. And if need to be done, if they are going to take boys to the mile 2, most of us here are going with them. So that is what all Gambians should have in mind. That this is the only country that we have. And if the country fails, our future fails. If the country fails, our family fails. If the country fails, our destiny crumbles. So we ask ourselves this fundamental question. If we are really serious about the change that we are advocating for every day in our social media, you will go to Facebook and you will see hundreds of Gambians, thousands advocating for this change. But do they really mean the change that they are writing or saying on their boards? So this is something that we must put behind our mind. That we will never accept this state to do whatsoever that he feels like doing if it does not reflect on the needs and in the aspirations of the ordinary Gambians. You will go to provinces, find farmers there. They are without fertilizer. Now it is almost a harvesting period. Most of them are going to be with their products until next rainy season. They will not be able to sell them. Until today, some farmers are not able to receive the money that the state promised them. That is, they sold their granules to the state. At the end of the day, they were not able to receive their money up to date. And the state is still saying that they are serious about the country's well-being. So we have to be realistic. This is not a matter of competition. This is a matter of fight. This is a matter of our country. This issue must not be left like that. If the president can capture the Auditor General in his office, there is high tendency of the president rigging elections. Because capturing or removing the Auditor General from his office by using force, it's more difficult than taking 25 votes from this particular ballot to put it in the other ballot. So if we are ready to change this country in 2026, we must be ready to fight. We must be ready to be the architects of our own destiny. The destiny that we are fighting for today lies in our hands. Fighting corruption is everybody's business, including me and you that is watching us right now. So if you think it is not your business, then I think you have to really look up to something that you think you and then your family will benefit from. As far as I know, corruption kills. One of the reasons why this country is still not developed is because we have been seeing rampant corruption. History has the good side of repeating itself, and history has been continuously repeating itself in this country. Since the First Republic, the Second Republic, to this Third Republic. Oh, sorry, to the borrowed regime, because it's not still a republic or a Third Republic. So we are urging on all Gambians to be on their feet. Be your own foot soldier. You don't need to wait for GALA to come out before you fight corruption. Anything that has to do with corruption, GALA will obviously be there, but we don't always have to wait for GALA to come out before we take our action. In our own places, in our own house, we can still advocate for better reforms and good governance. I said this somewhere else and I will say it again. That the boys are unlawfully detained. They were exercising their rights to assemble as ordinary citizens. The office of the audit is a public office that every Gambian has the right to occupy. And we were occupying there to give a press briefings, not to protest. I think this has to be made very clear. That we were there not to protest, we were there to talk to the press. We were there to have a conversation with the Gambian people. We were there for the Gambian people to know our next point of action. But we saw it very clear that police will continuously do their police brutality. Continuous arrest and torturing protesters or those that were there to attend the protest. We have seen how Aliu and others were maltreated. We have seen how journalists were maltreated. So that thing has to be the thing of the past. So notwithstanding, this is why we call the press, and this is what we want to put across. That we are not relenting on the fight. We will do whatsoever that we want to do to make sure that the state is responsible. We will do whatsoever that we must do to make sure that the state listen and act on the voices and the needs and the aspirations of the ordinary Gambian people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Local language. Okay. People are demanding local language. Okay, fine. Dangay talk nga talang sa tang.
Dan ñu sonal
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, comrades.
da nga ñëw ginnaaw tuuti sa fii mu ngi suñu frère. Gambia kal.
Good afternoon, comrades. Gambians, members of the press, members of GALA, and our sympathizers. We come here to the National Youth Parliament, which is the space of all the youths in this country, to come here once again to talk to the Gambian people, to talk to the masses that have given GALA the mandate to represent them in the streets. As you already know, we are feeling very uncomfortable here because GALA is not a movement that has a norm of doing public or press conferences always, or reaching out to the average Gambian people through cozy air-conditioned rooms, as I already said, it happens. Because going forward, whatever we've been seeing in this country for way too long is a group of armchair activists, a group of conformists that always sit and watch the average Gambian suffer. The only problem that GALA has is changing the narratives on how people look at activism. That is the problem that GALA has. But there is a saying which says that if the truth shall kill them, let them all die. Going forward, when you work ak Gambians, ne barki demba dañ toog si lundi bi nga xam ne moo nekk auditeur général bi nga xam ne moom dañ set up office am si beneen groupe bi fi nekkoon moo set up office boobu noonu nga xam ne auditeur général bi lu waaye dëkk bi nga xam ne moo nekk constitution yi Gambie bi in section 158 daf ko may doole pour muy saytu palaasi nguur yoo xam ne moo nekk si biir Gambie bi yëpp mu leen di seet seen doxalin ak ni ñoo doxee ndax méngoo naa lu tax ñu teg leen fa te place boobu bu mu amee dem na si place yoo xam ne nii dañ doon dem di seet seen doxalin waaye suñ demee si office rek duñ fa dee fekk moo nekk ne xaalis bu rëy ak tapale bu rëy am na auditeur général buñ demee nga xam ne auditeur général dafa indépendant président mun na koo jël waaye naka ngaa daaxee auditeur général soo xoolee si section 158 under subsection 4 and 5 si constitution bi nga xam ne mooy luwaa yi dëkk bu doxal Gambia daf la wax ne auditeur général nekkul koo xam ne nii dañ koo jël di ko daaxa ndaxte su fekkee ne nit ki yaa ko abal bët kon ne ngay xoole auditeur général su léegi su jot nañ ne nekk gaa yi ngay yóbbu si boy si pour gaa ñu dem Kanifing right now at the court xam naa ne ñun ñëpp suñu fi jógee fii dama am pour gaawalal su ko defee ñun ñëpp ñu jógee fii dem fenn waaye auditeur général bi moom moo taxoon pour ñun ñu génn bu auditeur général bi taxee pour ñu génn tamit wax li nga xam ne moom moo nekk di stop Gambien si yëpp moo nekk ne ñu jaaj boo xam ne xapul na GRA ba pare dem nañ tamit ba gis ay verbal communication fi nga xam ne moo nekk central bank sax wax nañ ne ñoom auditeur général bi du leen saytu ñu taxaw si bu dëggeen wax ne ñoom auditeur général bi du leen audit and lii yëpp mu ngay nekk di xapul si biir dëkk bi xaalis si dëkk bi mu ngi nekk di dem ba pare ñu feebar mënuñoo faju nit ñaa ngee dee si biir dëkk bi nit ñi mënuñoo am développement ba pare dara xamuñu loolu sabab ñu génne ñu téye leen looloo waral ñu téye Aliou Ba tëj ko te government bi lu mu dee def yëpp daf ko dee calculer xam nañ ne members of the press ñu ngi fa soo su ñoo téye nit pour brutalise ko dañ koo def pour ragalloo ñeneen ñoo xam ne dañ war a ñëw waaye nit koo xam ne nii moom moo la gën a dëgër boppam mënuloo koo ragalloo si loo xam ne daf ko bugg a def soo ñu ngeen a oo ñëpp pour code boo xam ne ñu ngi leen ko doon wax démba ne leen ne dañ koo def ëllëg code bi ñu ngi koo def tey so xam naa ne ñun fii dañoo ñëw jeexale because dañoo dem si code bi léegi te xam naa ne yéen tamit di ngeen fa nekka because of dañoo dem tamit pour àtteekaay because from Kairaba police station ñu ngi arrêté ñëpp tamit pour ñu dem si code bi so xam naa ne with all due respect xam naa ne press conference bi dafa am pour NF yi so jërë ngeen.
Thank you very much. We have no time to